China's diplomatic delegation departs from high-level talks with the Biden administration in Alaska. Secretary of State Antony Blinken calling the talks candid and saying they found some common ground. But it comes after a tense scene where the top diplomats faced off in a public debate. Brief opening statements turning into an hour-long fight in front of the cameras. We'll have the latest. The president and vice president making a solemn visit to Atlanta in the wake of the deadly shooting rampage there, meeting with members of the Asian American community reeling from the attack. 6 of the 8 victims, women of Asian descent, as authorities released new images of the alleged gunman moments before one of the shootings. We're learning more about those victims. The single mother of 2, a U.S. Army veteran, and the spa owner killed just 2 days shy of her 50th birthday. School social distancing. The CDC updates its guidelines for schools, saying children can be separated by 3 feet of space instead of 6 inside the classroom. But 6 feet of distance is still recommended for teachers and adult staff. And the president visits the CDC and warns Americans not to let down their guard as health officials raise concerns over those highly contagious variants. Screen time struggle. So much time in the pandemic spent staring at screens, and it's impacting children the most. Tonight, we examine the very real consequences for kids of too much screen time and how our brains are hardwired to keep watching.
I started with a couple of videos, then I started watching more and more. I watched every free moment I had, and day and night.
A decade of war, Syria's tragic civil war reaches the 10-year mark. A brutal battle between the Assad regime and Syria's citizens, more than 500,000 people losing their lives, and a generation of children displaced and growing up in endless conflict.
عايشين صرنا 8 سنين هون بهاي المخيم عمري 10 سنين.
And Mobile Vaccine Lifeline, the program bringing COVID vaccines to people who can't get them on their own. From country roads to city streets, the healthcare workers delivering hope.
Just makes my heart burst with joy just being a part of it and doing exactly why I became a nurse.
Nice smiles there in that video. Good evening to you. I'm Adrienne Bankert, in for Lindsay Davis. Thank you for streaming with us. Hate can have no safe harbor in America. Those were the words from President Biden late today in Atlanta, Georgia, addressing a community reeling in the wake of the deadly shooting rampage Tuesday night that left 8 people dead, including 6 victims of Asian descent. Tonight, police are not ruling out that the attacks were a hate crime. The president and vice president participated in a listening session today with members of Georgia's Asian American community. The shootings have shaken and angered the country at a time when attacks against Asian Americans are on the rise, but also inspired many to speak up and speak out. Our Steve Osunsami leads us off from Atlanta.
In Georgia tonight, the president and the vice president are promising to do all they can to protect Asian Americans from attacks in the streets. At a meeting, they heard a long list of concerns from some of the state's Asian lawmakers.
Hate can have no safe harbor in America. It must stop. And it's on all of us together, to make it stop.
A harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us. The president and I will not be silent.
Across town, the coroner is sending the dead to funeral homes and releasing the names of the victims killed at the 2 24-hour spas in Atlanta. 51-year-old Hyun Grant, a Korean immigrant, leaves behind the 2 sons seen in this photo to her left. 69-year-old Suncha Kim was also killed. So was 74-year-old Soong Chung Park and 63-year-old Yong A.U. Her 2 sons, seen here, are heartbroken and share this photo. The majority of Georgia's Asian residents live in the Atlanta suburbs, but many of them work in the city. Atlanta's interim police chief wants them to know that down here, there's no question that his people are concerned about racially motivated attacks.
We're now working to have a greater outreach to ensure them that we are here for them as well.
There's a lot of mistrust, you know.
Yeah, it is a lot of mistrust. It's very understandable, especially during these times. But it is incumbent upon us to make sure that we strengthen those relationships and to reestablish that level of trust.
In the Atlanta suburbs, there's new surveillance video from the scene of the first of the murders at Young's Asian massage parlor. Investigators here say that this is 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long, seen going in and out of the business where he's accused of murdering 4 people. Of the 8 he's now charged with killing Tuesday evening, all but 2 of them were Asian. One of those 2 was Paul Michaels, an Army veteran who was a handyman at the business. The local sheriff, who's gotten an earful of complaints over the way his office has handled the case, showed up at a vigil outside and offered his condolences.
We are committed to providing a safe community and getting a solid conviction on this. You have my promise.
The sheriff's office has Long in custody. Their investigators agree with police in the city that Long had a sex addiction and was targeting the spas where he was a regular. Long was well known at his Southern Baptist church and is seen here in a picture taken from a 2018 video posted on the church's Facebook page that was taken down a few days ago. The church hasn't commented on the video, but is releasing a statement saying that the shootings were a total repudiation of our faith and practice. No blame can be placed upon the victims.
Steve Osunsami joins us now from Atlanta. Steve, both the president and vice president making a point of saying that no matter what the motive, too many Asian Americans are living in fear right now.
That's right. And complicating things here is the growing sense of mistrust between the Asian American community and the law enforcement community. And that wasn't helped by the unfortunate statements of law enforcement officials in one of the counties north of here who are investigating their end of these killings. We sat down and talked with the interim police chief here in Atlanta, and he said, at least down here, he wants Asian Americans to know that he is protecting them, he is here to answer the phone, and that he understands that there's still work to do. Adrian.
Steve, this story top of mind for a lot of people there in Georgia and for families all across the country. Thank you so much. And turning now to the pandemic, the CDC announcing new recommendations reducing social distancing for children in the classroom. The agency's director is trying to reassure teachers' unions about the move. It comes as President Biden today made his first visit to the CDC as concerns grow over the spread of variants. Our Whit Johnson with more.
Tonight, a major change that could help pave the way for millions more children to get back in the classroom.
I'm hopeful that we are turning a corner on this pandemic. Getting our children back to school, in-person instruction as soon as possible is a critical first step in doing so.
The CDC today reducing its distancing recommendation from 6 feet to 3 inside the classroom with universal masking. But if community transmission is high, the CDC advises middle and high schools to break students into small groups or stay at 6 feet. That's because older kids are more likely to spread the virus.
We've seen the science to ensure that this is safe for those schools.
The CDC citing multiple studies finding the shorter distance did not sacrifice safety. Marcy Clark is a mother of 3 in New Jersey whose kids haven't been in a classroom in a year.
It's been a year. I am at peace with my kids returning to school and being 3 feet apart from a classmate.
But some major teachers' unions pushing back. The National Education Association calling for more detail and saying the rule change would be particularly challenging for large urban schools with fewer resources, and concern from some school boards.
We do not want to try to cram, as many students as we possibly can into a classroom.
Today, Joe Biden making his first visit as president to the CDC, saying science is back.
You've changed things. You've changed them in a way that are going to make everybody healthier in this country. And when we have a crisis, you're prepared to meet it because you speak truth and science to power.
But tonight, an urgent warning. Dr. Anthony Fauci saying the highly contagious UK variant could be 64% more deadly and now accounts for up to 30% of infections in the U.S., but adds the 3 authorized vaccines are effective against it.
Get as many people vaccinated as quickly and as expeditiously as possible with a vaccine that we know works.
Access to the vaccine, of course, going to continue to be a hot topic. Whit Johnson joining us now and getting back to those updated guidelines for schools. Can you clarify for us, Whit, the distancing for adults remains the same, right?
Yeah, Adrian, 6 feet is still recommended among school staff and when adults are interacting with children. That distance is also advised in group settings when kids are eating, exercising, or doing other activities without a mask on. And the CDC pointing out that children between the ages of 5 and 17 make up less than 10% of COVID cases in the U.S. Adrian?
We appreciate your reporting. Thank you. And now to the trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin, charged with murder in the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. 13 jurors, including one alternate, are now seated. The judge today ruled that the trial will not be delayed or moved out of the county, and so opening statements are set to begin a week from Monday. For the latest, we bring in ABC's Alex Perez. Thank you so much for being with us, Alex. Chauvin's lawyer had asked the judge to move the trial because of that recently announced $27 million settlement with Floyd's family. Why did Judge Cahill deny that request?
Hey, Adrian, yeah, the judge had a lot to say about this morning. The defense made this request, filed this motion a couple of days ago, and the judge says he spent that time thinking about this motion. And in court today, he said a couple of things, including that he does believe that the process, the jury selection process right now is working. It's helping them find people who are impartial and can follow jury instructions. He says he firmly believes the process is working. Number two, he said he does not believe there is a place in Minnesota, a county in Minnesota, where the residents have not heard of this case. And thirdly, he said he does not believe that delaying or continuing this trial in any way will stop the publicity, the coverage of it. So he says right now he firmly believes in the process. He thinks it's working, and he wants to continue forward and keep the trial right there in Hennepin County in Minneapolis. Jury selection is expected to resume on Monday morning, and then the trial opening arguments would actually start on March 29th. Adrian?
Thanks, Alex, for that perspective. The judge also ruling today that the jury could hear some evidence of George Floyd's prior arrest in May 2019. Why does the judge think that could be relevant to this case?
Yeah, you know, Adrian, this has been going on for months now. Before the trial process even began, the defense has been trying to get this evidence admitted into the case. And the judge today ruled that parts of it can be admitted, not the entirety of that May 2019 arrest. The judge says the emotional reaction of George Floyd during that arrest, and there's some of this on body cam video, cannot be admitted during the trial. But he says his physical reaction during that encounter with police can become part of this current trial. The judge says he wants to be very specific, that the emotional reaction about what happened back in May 2019 does not relate to what happened during the incident that we've all seen over and over on that hard-to-watch video that was shared around the world. So the judge really narrowing down what can be used from that older body cam video when it comes to the trial. Adrian?
All right. Thank you to our Alex Perez. We appreciate you joining us. And now to the growing crisis at the southern border, where hundreds of migrant children and teenagers have now been held at Border Patrol facilities for 10 days or longer. That's well beyond the legal limit. President Biden's DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas traveled to El Paso, Texas today, and that's where ABC's Matt Gutman is tonight.
Tonight, with Border Patrol facilities dangerously overcrowded, ABC News learning that about 500 migrant children and teens have spent more than 10 days in custody, well beyond the 3-day legal limit. Many of those crossing like this 17-year-old in South Texas. He says we're here searching for the American dream because in our country, the violence is really bad. Today, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and a bipartisan group of senators visited immigration facilities here in El Paso after he acknowledged earlier this week the challenges ahead.
The situation is undoubtedly difficult. We are working around the clock to manage it.
The U.S. bracing for a surge of migrants not seen in 20 years, many going right over this wall.
These are what's left of these rickety makeshift ladders that migrants use to get over the wall.
Most of the children in overwhelmed Border Patrol facilities are forced to wait for days for transfer to HHS shelters. But tonight, Texas Governor Greg Abbott blasting even those shelters, which are supposed to be designed for children.
We see very dangerous conditions. that these migrants are forced to be in, whether it be lack of running water or the exposure and spread of COVID.
And Matt Gutman joins us live from El Paso. There's news tonight that Mexico is sending forces to its southern border to help stop the flow of migrants to the U.S.
They are sending forces, they announced today, and they're saying that they're doing this primarily to try to protect the unusually large, the massive number of kids who are crossing into Mexico, mostly from Central America. Now, the Mexican government has done this periodically over the years. It actually does make a difference in the total number of people who cross into the U.S. It takes a while, though, but what we're told from authorities here is that there is so much backlog, especially of Central American migrants who are still in Mexico just waiting to come across, that the efforts of the Mexican government along the border might not make a massive difference, at least initially, Adrian.
And Matt, let's go back to the topic of those border control facilities where hundreds of children are being held longer than the 3-day legal maximum. What do we know about them, and where are the kids supposed to go next?
According to the latest data I've seen, and that's from Thursday, it was about 500 kids held for 10 days or longer. That's 240 hours. The legal limit is 72 hours. And from what we're told, Border Patrol officials are trying to make it as comfortable as possible for these kids, but many of them are sleeping on what are basically camping mats on the floor. They have those foil mylar blankets. That's all that they're given. They have warm clothes. They're given ample food, but these are not conditions for children. They're pretty much jail-like conditions. And the problem is there's a massive backlog to try to get them to HHS facilities, which are designed to house children, but they're filling up, and they just don't have a place to put all of these kids at this point. And that is something that we understand Secretary Mayorkas is trying to work through. But again, he says it takes time. Still, you know, if you're a kid and you're languishing in one of these detention facilities, time is not something you feel that you have a lot of. Adrian.
It's just inundated right now. Thank you so much, Matt Gutman. We appreciate you. Next to the highly anticipated talks between the U.S. and China and how they began with public arguments all on camera. Our Karen Travers has more.
It was supposed to be a typical diplomatic photo op, unremarkable and highly choreographed. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan sitting down in Alaska with their Chinese counterparts. But it quickly developed into an hour-long back and forth of verbal attacks and accusations. Blinken criticizing China for its recent crackdown on Hong Kong, cyber attacks against the U.S., and economic coercion.
Each of these actions threaten the rules-based order that maintains global stability.
China's top diplomat then lecturing the Biden officials.
The United States itself does not represent international public opinion.
As reporters were about to leave the room, Secretary Blinken had aides stop them.
I do hope this conversation will be one carried out with confidence on both sides. So it's not lectures or long winding statements.
The press then left, but were brought back in, China wanting to have one last word.
The United States does not have the qualification to say that it wants to speak to China from a position of strength.
President Biden has said he'll take a strong but more nuanced approach to China than former President Trump, vowing to push China on human rights and economic issues while balancing that with cooperation on issues like climate change. Biden was asked today for his reaction to the diplomatic dust-up.
I'm very proud of the Secretary of State.
Our thanks to Karen. When we come back, 10 years of heartache, suffering, and conflict. Our in-depth look at Syria and its 10 years of war. When will it end? How Asian stereotypes did not just start during COVID. The stigma found in parts of American culture. We'll show you. But up next, pre-pandemic, parents were worried about kids and screen time. What has a year of remote learning done to the mind? Stay with us.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir.
We have made it through another week together.
America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, Michael Strahan. Wake up with America's #1 most watched morning show, ABC's
Good Morning America.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
ABC News honored winner for the second straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television. ABC News, America's #1 news source. Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime. 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Tuesday night.
You give me, Taraji P, 1 hour, and I'll give you the best television you'll see this week.
On Soul of a Nation.
They don't think women can be funny.
Black joy.
Black joy. Black joy.
There's a reason why we're that funny, because we took the foot and the worst.
And just wait for the surprises.
Soul of a Nation.
I'll see you Tuesday night. Soul of a Nation.
Tuesday night on ABC.
Boom!
In recognition of all you've done, the people of the world hereby crown you Queen of Soul.
Make sure the world only sees the Aretha Franklin you want them to.
You got to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace.
This is what you were meant to do.
Genius, Aretha. Premieres Sunday, March 21st at 9 on National Geographic.
Now, I'm personally glad that you're joining us streaming live right now on abcnewslive.com, but so many of us, myself included, keep it real, have spent too much time this past year in the digital space, whether it's Zoom calls for school or work or to catch up with loved ones, or maybe even binging on our favorite shows during lockdowns. We're all watching screens a lot more. But what is all of this screen time doing to our brains? And could the impacts be long-lasting, especially for kids? ABC's Rena Roy reports.
These days, screen time seems to be all the time. Non-stop stimulation in an infinite virtual playground.
What's up, hey, how you doing, man?
Everything has been kind of transformed to this 2D world. Our brains on screens, it's an addiction.
The most susceptible among us, kids. 11-year-old Ayan Mukherjee got his first computer when he began remote learning last spring.
Let's just start from the beginning. Let's go back to April 2020 when virtual learning began. You got your very first laptop. What was that like?
I mean, it was very exciting because I usually had to share devices with people in my family.
But he says in just a matter of days, things were getting out of hand.
I started with a couple of videos, then I started watching more and more. I watched every free moment I had, and day and night.
And it turns out our brains are wired to keep watching. Binging activates the reward center found in the midbrain, where dopamine is released and sent to our nucleus accumbens in the basal ganglia. It taps into the more survival and pleasure-based centers of the brain, driving us to watch that next episode or just one more video from a creator we love on YouTube. The prefrontal cortex of the brain, more recently evolved in humans, is more rational and works to weigh the consequences of certain decisions like binging. It might step in to tell the brain that you need sleep, so you should probably turn that video off. It's a constant battle between immediate pleasure and self-control, making us pretty exhausted. Dr. Heather Berlin, a neuroscientist and clinical psychologist, says it's taking a toll, particularly on kids.
Studies show that with children, the longer amount of time they spend on screens, the worse their social and emotional development.
Ayan's mother, Dr. Preetika Mukherjee, is a neuropsychologist herself and tells us she noticed an immediate shift in his behavior, saying he was extra tired, moody, and irritable.
And as a mom, during that shift, how did it feel to see your son kind of acting out in this way?
It was hard. It was difficult because he's usually not this dysregulated. He's a very even-keeled, calm kid. We were questioning what could it be.
According to the Mayo Clinic, excessive screen time in kids has been linked to loss of social skills, behavioral problems, less sleep or irregular sleep, obesity, and even violence. Lindsay Reckler, a mother of two, has been working and parenting from home like millions of Americans for over a year now.
When you're fully plugged in, you lose a little bit of sense of boundaries. Really just ends up immersed in this screen of images and work.
She's had to balance her own screen time as a busy director at an investment bank with that of her young children learning from home.
We went from don't take mom and dad's iPad to here's your own, and taking that iPad away after that virtual session is over proved to be very difficult.
Especially as the internet became the vital link to the outside world.
They went from interacting with every day, going to the playground, seeing their friends, to just pure isolation in our home.
Dr. Berlin says that in person, our brains subconsciously pick up on cues like body language and touch to help us respond appropriately in social settings. But on platforms like Zoom, these cues are missed, and the brain adjusts to a digital world of disrupted conversations, exaggerated expressions, and a lack of eye contact. This is not how we were evolved to communicate, causing what's now being dubbed Zoom fatigue. Professor Jeremy Bailenson has been leading Stanford University's research on the subject.
Zoom fatigue is when you've been doing it for hours a day, you get this kind of exhaustion. You feel drained, you feel exhausted, perhaps more than you would after meetings around people in the real world.
All the kids from your class on Zoom.
Reckler captured our new reality in a parody children's book called Good Morning Zoom, a riff on Goodnight Moon.
When I first wrote the book, we were trying to explain to our children why they were not seeing their grandparents. Here, all of these children are enduring this unbelievably terrifying experience together.
Scientists say our intimacy with loved ones is really suffering. One surprisingly important thing our brains are missing out on is smell. It's the only sense that can go straight from sensory receptors directly to the cortex, the primary sensory area of the brain, making it especially powerful and informative. Smell is also linked to empathy.
I find so interesting and fascinating is just the idea of smell and that being such a big part of the way that we interact with other humans.
We're getting information from people in terms of odors about emotions, about how they're feeling, and we're losing out on a lot of that. It's making us less connected in certain ways.
It's a dizzying combination of effects on the human mind, and the long-term impact of all this zooming is still a mystery.
We don't know the answer, but we are working pretty hard to figure it out.
For now, there are ways we can limit the impact. Ion has taken all devices out of his room and has created a set time limit with his parents for when he can use them.
It was hard at first, like in the first few days, first week, but as it went by, I felt more relieved that I wasn't spending as much time on the screen.
Even writing an open essay about his experience as a PSA for other kids.
What are you hoping the message is from your essay?
I'm hoping that it helps kids be less addicted to screen.
But still, we're likely to see an awkward transition post-pandemic when we have to adapt to the next normal. Reckler hopes her children will be able to readjust.
I think I need to teach my kids how to be a friend again. Teach them that it's okay to have human interaction.
The good news is that the human brain, especially when young, is very resilient.
With children, they're fortunate in the sense that they'll probably come out of this and be able to readapt again. There might be certain critical periods of development, of social and emotional development, that they miss. But I think that it'll be very quick for them to catch up with what they have lost.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And for a lot of us grown-ups, we might need to get used to interacting with people in real life. Say hi to somebody 6 feet apart at the grocery store tonight. Our thanks to Rita Roy. Still ahead here on Prime. For the first time, a current employee of the New York governor's office is reportedly making accusations. We'll explain. A woman allegedly claiming to be the wife of Pete Davidson entered his home. What happened next? And why a former senator was selected as the next possible head of NASA. We take a look by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day, and it's one of our own. Kenneth Moton highlighting reporters getting called out for questionable manners in the White House.
Thank you very much, Jen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering if I was in this room by myself. Thank you very much, Jen.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart they did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
In recognition of all you've done, The people of the world hereby crown you Queen of Soul.
Make sure the world only sees the Aretha Franklin you want them to.
You got to disturb the peace when you can't get no peace.
This is what you were meant to do.
Genius, Aretha. Premieres Sunday, March 21st at 9 on National Geographic.
24 Hours, Assault on the Capitol. The ABC News original, exclusively on Hulu. Now streaming. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir.
We have made it through another week together.
America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, Michael Strahan. Wake up with America's #1 most watched morning show. ABC's
Good Morning America. ABC News honored winner for the second straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television. ABC News, America's #1 news source.
Today, President Biden announced his plan to nominate former Senator Bill Nelson to run NASA. Let's take a look at the numbers. Florida native Bill Nelson served 18 years in the Senate representing the Sunshine State, leading key committees overseeing science and space travel during his time in Congress. He also served 12 years in the U.S. House representing the districts that included the Kennedy Space Center. In January of 1986, he flew on the 24th flight of the Space Shuttle Columbia as a congressional observer and payload specialist, orbiting the Earth 98 times in 6 days in space. His mission landed just 10 days before the final Challenger mission ended in disaster during takeoff. The 78-year-old Nelson's decades of experience in Washington could be a major advantage to help NASA secure critical funding for ambitious programs in the next decade, including the Artemis moon program to return Americans to the lunar surface. And while Nelson would be the first senator to run NASA, 3 former astronauts have served in the Senate, former Senators John Glenn and Jack Schmidt, and current Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. We still have so much to get to tonight. What is life like when your classroom is a battlefield? And forget an appointment, how about the vaccine coming directly to you? But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
Tuesday night.
You give me, Taraji P, 1 hour, and I'll give you the best television you'll see this week.
On Soul of a Nation.
They don't think women can be funny.
Black joy.
Black joy.
Black joy.
There's a reason why we're that funny, because we took the foot and the worst.
And just wait for the surprises.
Soul of a Nation.
I'll see you Tuesday night. Soul of a Nation.
Tuesday night on ABC.
Boom!
ABC News honored winner for the second straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television. ABC News, America's #1 news source.
This is GMA3, what you need to know. GMA3.
A third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon.
It's all about you. Lunchtime on ABC.
The reality is our country can collapse from within.
You see the white power movement on the march. Klansmen and neo-Nazis, skinheads, it's meant to incite war.
From the KKK to Oklahoma City to Charlottesville, the new documentary event special.
We just need to start talking about race.
Homegrown hate, the war among us.
This is a real wake-up call.
Streaming now on ABC News Live.
Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True Crime 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
The CDC pointing to new research about transmission rates in schools as the reason for changing its social distancing guidelines from 6 feet to 3 feet for students in classrooms if they are also wearing masks.
We have frequently said CDC believes schools should be the last place to close and the first place to open.
The announcement prompting swift pushback. The head of a major teacher union on CNN.
I just hope this is not a rush to put in twice as many deaths in a place where we're really starting to get things real.
Michigan seeing a 53% rise in cases last week alone. Michigan's governor saying a significant number of those cases can be attributed back to high school athletics.
While President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris met behind closed doors with members of the Asian community about the growing violence and, in the wake of the Atlanta area shooting spree, an examination of long-standing stereotypes in pop culture.
Still from wrong guy. When people think of Asians, scenes from Hollywood favorites often come to mind.
What's happening? Hot stuff.
Very often, the first thing that we see when we look at each other are the images that have been impressed on us by the media we consume.
So many scenes from films like Austin Powers.
I honestly think Austin Powers is very sexy.
And Mean Girls.
Coach Carr? Train pack.
Perpetuate negative stereotypes of Asian Americans.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones, hold on to your potatoes.
And it's this scene from Full Metal Jacket that has permeated American culture like few others.
Me love you long time.
Those words used repeatedly in movies.
Me love you long time.
And TV shows.
Me love you long time.
Asian women often portrayed in Hollywood as sex workers. Either dominatrixes like this scene in Billions, or more submissive like the women in the massage parlors in Rush Hour 2.
Oh my goodness.
For Asian men, they're kung fu masters or nerds with no social skills.
Come on. Do math.
But even more recent examples, like Matt Damon in The Great Wall, show white actors playing Asian heroes.
That, I think, is at the crux of this. For Asians, we're seeking more than just representation. We're seeking agency. We want to be able to tell our stories.
Tonight, for the first time, a woman who currently works in the office of New York Governor Andrew Cuomo coming forward to accuse him of sexual harassment. Alyssa McGrath, a 33-year-old aide, says Cuomo ogled her while she was taking dictation. I put my head down, waiting for him to start speaking, and he didn't start speaking, she said. So I looked up to see what was going on, and he was blatantly looking down my shirt. McGrath tells The Times a coworker confided in her that Cuomo had groped her breast, a story that has been previously reported. Cuomo has denied ever getting physical with anyone. But McGrath is the 8th woman to say that's just not true.
Person claiming to be married to SNL star Pete Davidson was arrested after she illegally entered his mother's home on Staten Island. 24-year-old Michelle Reddy is charged with criminal trespassing, stalking, and harassment. Police say she showed up at Davidson's mother's house yesterday, but asked to leave. That's when she allegedly went around the side of the home and entered through the back door. Reddy told police that she and Davidson have a telepathic love connection.
Heavy rains in southern Greece have uncovered a bronze figurine of a bull believed to be about 3,000 years old. Experts think it may have been part of an offering to the god Zeus in ancient Olympia.
And thank you for streaming with us on abcnewslive.com. From China to North Korea to Iran. And let's not forget the global pandemic. President Biden has many policy challenges, foreign policy challenges, that is. We haven't even brought up Syria yet, a conflict he's been accused of putting on the back burner despite a decade of war that has left hundreds of thousands dead and no change in Syrian leadership. The conflict in Syria over the last decade has been a brutal one. Chemical weapons were even used despite proclamations from President Biden's former boss, Barack Obama, that unleashing them would be crossing a red line. Relentless suffering, relentless conflict, and as Ian Panel shows us, children caught in the middle throughout it all.
It looks like a normal day at a regular elementary school where happy fourth graders are learning English. But this is no ordinary school, and not all classes here are quite so much fun. In America, some school children must learn what to do if there's an active shooter. But here in northern Syria, they must learn what to do if they're about to be bombed. Today, this is just a rehearsal. But it's a life-saving lesson because more than 1,500 schools and colleges have been targeted or damaged in Syria's war, most of them by the regime. And in 10 years of conflict, nearly 12,000 children have been killed or injured. It started peacefully. As the Arab Spring swept into Syria in 2011, protests for basic freedoms and rights began. But when a group of children sprayed graffiti against the ruling Assad family, the regime showed its hand. The boys were arrested, imprisoned, and tortured. And when more peaceful protests erupted, the regime then opened fire. Syria spiraled into a brutal civil war. An armed rebellion emerged with weapons, funding and training from the Gulf and Europe. The regime doubled down in a fight for survival with weapons, bombs and fighters from Iran, Hezbollah and Russia. We witnessed Syria's descent into chaos firsthand in the country's second city of Aleppo as rebel fighters and regime troops battled for control.
The rebels have now moved up because the government's been trying to push into this area.
In a desperate move, the regime started using industrial-scale warfare with civilians increasingly targeted. We saw innocent people, their homes, even their hospitals being attacked with attack helicopters and fighter jets as the ranks of the dead and the wounded mounted.
The situation inside here is one of unbelievable chaos.
The world watched in horror. It condemned and criticized. And then President Obama issued his infamous warning.
We have been very clear to the Assad regime, but also to other players on the ground, that a red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized.
A year later, it happened, with horrific images emerging of adults and children choking and dying from what the UN says was sarin gas and weaponized chlorine. Further attacks were blamed on the Syrian regime, something it still denies. Despite a red line being clearly crossed, Obama settled for a Russian broken deal and the slaughter of civilians by both sides, but overwhelmingly the regime resumed. Robert Ford was America's ambassador to Syria at the time.
What is the lesson? What are the possibilities here?
On the chemical weapons attack and the red line, I think the most important lesson from that is that leaders of any country should be very careful about language they spell out, defining red lines if they're not prepared to back them up. It quickly became apparent that there was a very big disparity between the Obama administration's rhetoric and what the Americans were actually willing to do on the ground.
The few American troops that had been in Syria to support anti-terror groups were largely pulled out under the Trump administration, leaving Russia to fill the void. But the killing didn't stop. More than 500,000 people have been killed in the last 10 years. More than 14,000 by torture. Nasser Abdul Karim Speer survived to tell his story. It's as painful as it is familiar. He spent years of his life in and out of Syrian prisons. Most recently, arrested in 2014 during the uprising and jailed for 2 years.
I was at home, and suddenly soldiers surrounded the house. They pointed guns at me, and they were ordered to take me out of the house.
They broke his kneecap, he says, and he says he was regularly beaten because he could no longer walk.
It still affects me very much. It was deeply distressing. It was extremely hard, being beaten while not being able to walk or run like the rest of the detainees.
He's now joined thousands of others in Atme refugee camp in the Turkish border. The slaughter and displacement unleashed an exodus not witnessed for decades. And the vacuum left in parts of rebel-held Syria was increasingly filled by the black flag of the Islamic State. The group conquering large swaths of Syria and Iraq, murdering, raping and pillaging in the name of a twisted theology. Ethnic minorities recounting horrific stories of sexual enslavement and torture. And while the Syrian people were crying out for help, the world largely stood by and watched.
Bashar al-Assad has maintained his seat on power. In his terms, he has won. He is not going to be removed. He's going to win a sham election later this spring, and he will be there for at least 7 more years. They need to stop thinking that somehow the Americans or the West are going to save them. The U.S. Air Force is not going to start bombing Damascus.
Dr. Taraf al-Taraf works for the Syrian American Medical Society in Idlib, northern Syria, where most civilians displaced by the war now live. We can't say where exactly because the clinic is at risk of being attacked.
I lost many of my friends and loved ones. Those were very difficult times. And even I sometimes don't want to remember it.
He's been working in hospitals since the start of the war. He's lost his brother and 2 colleagues, all of them working as medics. Hundreds of facilities have been targeted. Clinics like this now depend on the same early warning system being installed in schools in northern Syria. And yet, incredibly, Dr. Taraf still has hope.
Although of all the difficulties that we lived in the last 10 years, yes, I still hopeful. I'm hopeful because hope is all we have. I believe that this tragedy will end someday, soon or later, and the Syrians will regain their freedom and build a country that respects its citizens and their rights.
More than half the country has been displaced by this war, and this vast, sprawling camp along the Turkish border is now home to many of them. Children who know nothing but war, violence and insecurity, now living in this vast city of Tarpaulin.
عايشين صرنا 8 سنين هون بهاي المخيم عمري 10 سنين.
The camp now large enough to be seen by satellite, but still out of sight. After the worst 10 years imaginable, millions of people are stranded on the edge of Europe, still largely ignored, marginalized, and living each day in fear for their lives. Ian Pannell for ABC News.
What a tragedy. Our thanks to Ian. When we come back, Vaccine in a Van, the critical program bringing access to the COVID vaccine to those unable to get it on their own.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart they did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough. You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
The reality is our country can collapse from within.
You see the white power movement on the march. Klansmen and neo-Nazis, skinheads, it's meant to incite war.
From the KKK to Oklahoma City to Charlottesville, the new documentary event special.
We just need to start talking about race.
Homegrown hate, the war among us.
This is a real wake-up call.
Streaming now on ABC News Live.
Welcome back. For many Americans, trying to get an appointment for a COVID vaccine is still a struggle. It might be a struggle for you, even as states begin to widen access. But for some, simply getting to a vaccination site is next to impossible, either because of distance or disability. So an innovative program in Maryland is taking COVID vaccines on the road, getting doses to those in need. ABC's Terry Moran has the story.
Long lines, even longer waits for a COVID vaccine that could mean the difference between life and death. But for Barbara Feldman, a mother of 3 who lives in rural Carroll County, Maryland, waiting in line for a vaccine isn't an option.
Most families that have typical children, they're going to go back to a normal, and we're not. Our life has been upside down for 21 years.
Her 2 sons, 19-year-old Andrew and 20-year-old Jack, both have rare genetic disorders that also make them vulnerable to lung and respiratory issues. And because of their developmental disabilities, they don't understand the importance of masks in public places.
Because they're vulnerable, they would be very much at risk if they got COVID.
Exactly. That and Jack will not wear a mask. So, of course, I'm going to protect him. And if he won't wear a mask, I'm not going to put him in a situation where it's just not worth it.
So for them, a mobile vaccine unit that comes to their home is literally a lifeline.
It was finally a nurse from the health department that was just doing one of her quality checkups with us that asked if we would want them to come to the house. And I was like, absolutely, we would love for them to come to the house.
And today, their prayers answered.
When Miss Marie comes and she does your, what's that called, your blood pressure, they're going to hold on to your arm.
A medical team from Maryland-based LifeBridge Health bringing the vaccine from its hospitals to their doorstep.
All done! Did it!
Yay! That was so good.
The long-awaited vaccine, along with her network of support, gives Barbara strength.
I bet you a lot of people who will watch this will say, how does she do it?
Well, you don't have any choice. That's the thing, is you step up to the plate. There is no other choice. I mean, what else are you gonna do? These are your kids.
The Feldmans, one of only a few families that day to be vaccinated. This area is rural, with miles of road stretching between patients' homes. People might say, look, you're getting one here, one there, a few people a day. Is it worth it?
So it's labor intensive, there's no question. Yes, it's worth it. There's no question about that either. These patients who are homebound and at risk deserve access to the vaccine just as much as any other patient. So we're going to proceed until apprehended.
Here in Carroll County, the vaccine supply is severely limited. Only 1,200 vaccines are available on average per week. What's it been like for you the past year or so?
You know, I was in the military. I've been in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it just kind of, you know, seeing the number of people that we had dying there just takes me back to how horrible, you know, a war zone can be.
In this pandemic war zone, the life-saving armor comes in the form of a needle, and the soldiers dressed in scrubs. We're heading out with the team now. This is about a 15-minute drive from town where we were. It's a very rural county, and this is typical of the work they're doing.
Hello. Hi.
63-year-old John Briscoe was an engineer and worked at an applied physics lab for more than 25 years.
Towards the end of my working years at Johns Hopkins, I drank a lot, and I destroyed part of my brain.
As his dementia progressed, his memory became worse.
It's really shocking when you wake up and you look at your own wife and you don't remember her name.
John's wife, Bonnie, tried for weeks, months, to get her homebound husband and her 81-year-old uncle, Philip, the vaccine.
What aggravates me is I couldn't protect either one of them, and they're so special to me. I don't want to lose them to anything, especially COVID.
For John, he's hoping the vaccine will give him a new lease on life after spending the last year inside.
See, all that waiting, and it just takes a couple seconds.
That's the way it works. I'm realizing I'm only 63.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And my life's not over, and I want to have a life.
And from country roads to city streets, the mobile vaccine unit bringing the vaccine to underserved communities like Harlem Gardens, an elderly apartment complex in the heart of West Baltimore, where Joanne Rankin lives. Joanne is wheelchair-bound, and she suffers from diabetes, high blood pressure, and cellulitis in her legs. She has no car, and her family lives far away and can't take her to get a vaccine.
The bus is okay to use if you have ability to stand up and wait for it.
Joanne was sick with COVID-19 last November.
I don't want to get it again. I don't think the next time I would live for it.
For 4 agonizing days, she laid in an intensive care unit bed, unable to call her mother, who she's called every day at 6 p.m. for years. Her sister also caught COVID, and she died at the same hospital from a stroke while sick.
I called my girlfriend. I said, Debbie, I think you need to know that I'm going to die, so you might want to call my family, because I couldn't do it. And she said, no, you're not going to die. Just keep thinking God's going to take care of you.
Joanne was one of the lucky ones. She survived, but the virus left scars, ones you can see and the ones you can't.
I never had anxiety like I do now. I mean, it's like each day I wake up, I don't want to sleep because I'm afraid I might not get up.
She hopes a vaccine will give her future protection from ever getting COVID again. But when the vaccine rollout began in January, she couldn't find a way to get the shot.
Every time I talk to them, there's a 3-hour wait, 4-hour wait. I can't do that in a chair.
There are thousands of Americans just like Joanne, people who desperately want the vaccine, but with no way to get one or get to one.
It can still be tough if you are, dependent on a walker, or if you're dependent on wheelchair or some level of support. And then imagine if that mass vaccination site is located downtown. You've got to navigate parking. You've got to navigate, the streets and crossing streets. So we had to be very thoughtful in our approach to equitably vaccinating.
Now this mobile vaccine campaign is giving hope to a community and to the healthcare workers serving there.
There you go. Congratulations.
Many of us as nurses also work in the hospital, and so we've seen the other side of the COVID-19 virus. We've seen the very, very sick. So to be a part of this side of it where we are preventing, hopefully, COVID, where we're, just making such a huge impact in the community.
There it is. All right, you're ready to roll. Okay.
They are happy, excited to be here, and it's just such a good collaboration between nurse and patient.
So I'm going to give you the shot today, and then we'll monitor you for 15 minutes afterwards.
It just makes my heart burst with joy just being a part of it and doing exactly why I became a nurse.
For ABC News, I'm Terry Moran in Baltimore.
Such inspiring and needed work. Our thanks to all of our healthcare workers, and our thanks to Terry. Now, before we go, we want to put a smile on your face. The image of the day, check out this chimpanzee watching a live stream set up in a zoo in the Czech Republic. The zoo set it up, they say, to enrich the lives of the animals during the pandemic, since visitors had not been allowed to visit the zoo. I think we all can relate to using, again, those screens. I hope it made the chimp happy. And I hope you're having something to smile about, to be grateful for. Thank you for joining us as we stream tonight. That's our show for this hour. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Adrienne Bankert in for Lindsay Davis. Thanks again. Good night.